Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dads. We are in the Zoom, not in the room. But if you watched the last episode, you'll know that the Dads have embarked on a most hazardous quest into a mountain with a variety of challenges. And we are going to pick up, Durant may or may not join us, we'll see. But I'll be playing him in spirit to preserve the rest of the party. So, you guys saw yet another long cavernous tunnel that seems to lead off winding around this mountain. And it had a slight descent as if it was going down, but very, very slight. Moving forward, I assume. Who is up front?
Was this the one where we heard we heard like the waves or something in the distance? Or is that the last room?
You do hear waves in the distance. Who's up front and what light sources are you guys using?
Someone had cast
I had dark
see and
vision.
dark vision, but I don't know how long it lasts.
Okay. Well, it certainly hasn't been an hour, but let's say that you can see. Who's up front?
Not I.
Tuco was in the middle.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. I think that that Riff and Estrof are up front, right?
Yeah, I think so.
More or less. With Tuco close behind.
Okay.
Protect us.
You guys are walking through this tunnel and it curves, so you can't see. It's not like a straight shot. It curves, but as you walk about 30 feet into the tunnel, up ahead past the curve, you see like light, almost like daylight, it looks like.
Keep going.
And as you kind of come around, as you kind of come around the corner, you come out to an opening, and you're at a kind of like a cliff. And looking down, you see an enormous cavern, huge cavern, like hundreds of feet across. And you're kind of at the top of it, elevation-wise. So you're looking down into it, almost like looking into a valley. And you see that this cavern looks like it is also opened up in an enormous cave-like triangular shape that's probably 100 feet wide and 100 feet tall at the apex. And you see beyond that, you see ocean, and you see waves coming into this cave, and you see light filtering in through this cave and kind of reflecting off the water at the bottom of this cave that you're looking down into.
Do we still have flight from Humphrey from before?
No.
Can Riff try to disbelieve the illusion of the ocean?
Why?
Because he doesn't think there could actually be an ocean in here.
Why doesn't Riff think that this opens up onto the ocean?
I guess, well, would Riff geographically or memory-wise remember how far we were from ocean,
Yes.
before we went down in here?
You are miles from the ocean.
Yeah, so
It doesn't make sense to Riff that this would be here.
Exactly.
Can we
Okay.
put a rock down in there?
All right, you pick up a rock, you throw it down, and it splashes into the water below. About 50 feet down, it splashes into the water.
And what did you say the light source was? Okay, can we see where that's coming from?
It's like, so you're at this little tunnel entrance that comes out onto a cliff. So imagine you're on one side of a cavern.
Okay.
Below you is water, the ocean out to your right through this huge triangular cave opening. The smell of like salt water fills the air. The sound of the waves lapping in and crashing over rocks and on the surface of this semi-subterranean cavern below.
So it's like we came out the side of the mountain, even though we know it should be miles
Yeah, but
away.
you're not outside. you're still inside a cave, like a cave inside of this mountain, but it's open to the outside. And when you kind of peek out there, you see sunlight streaming through. You see the ocean.
So if we lean out that door and look up, do we see sky or do we see cave?
No, you see cave.
Okay.
Is there something I can do to like detect an illusion or something?
Yeah, any of you guys who don't believe this is possible,
Yeah.
you can make a perception plus magic roll
Okay.
using many d4s, hopefully.
All 7 of the d4s.
There you go.
18.
Also 18.
Okay, you guys kind of like concentrate, and as you're concentrating, the first thing that goes away is the sound of the ocean, the sound of the waves. The second thing that goes away is the smell of salt water. The third thing that goes away is the opening of the big cavern to an outside where there's an ocean. That just becomes a wall. But there's a weird tree with a very bright orb. Like the tree's basically 80 feet tall, kind of along the wall where that opening was. And nestled amidst the central branches of the tree is this big glowing white orb. Like, let me give you some scale. It would probably be 4 feet in radius.
Is there something that I can I want to determine what type of magic we're up against. So I'd like to some sort of detect magic.
What level of mental magic do you have?
4.
This is an illusion. All of it. The only thing that's not an illusion is the tree with the big white glowing orb.
That's what I'm talking about.
But there's no water.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about determining like what's the deal with this tree and the orb. Like, it's just like energetic magic. Is this something necromancy? Like, what are we up against?
What level of energetic magic do you have?
4.
Okay, so 2 things. The illusion is mental magic. That's why it's affecting the minds of everybody here, except you and now Riff. The orb is energetic magic and something else, but you're not sure what the something else is.
The orb tastes like.
So do they say anything, or are y'all just sitting there pondering that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Okay, because Tuco and Estrof and Durant still sense these things as if they're there. The smell, the sight, and the sound, right?
Well, if you told us, does it go away? If you didn't tell us, obviously we still see it.
We haven't yet. And also my question is, do we sense anything different once we sort of disbelieve the illusion? Is there sounds replaced by a different sound, like hey, or anything else?
I need to know what levels of mental magic you have. So I know Humphrey has 4 mental, 4 energetic. What about spiritual?
So Riff has 4 mental and 4 spiritual. Only nothing for energetic.
All right, Riff. The orb and the tree are not what they seem. And it has something to do with spiritual magic that's interconnected with the illusion.
Okay.
Didn't Durant have his scarf or whatever with a spiritual warning turned on?
Hey, brother.
The scarf of the scarf of the mother's love, or something weird like
Yes.
that. Let me look. I don't have his sheet handy. I'll pull it up. So in the meantime, do you share your insights, like Humphrey and Riff?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Riff says, "Tuco, go down and get a handful of the ocean water and see if it's actually ocean water."
Okay.
Just knowing that there's nothing there.
Oh, isn't it like 50 feet down?
Oh wait, we're like.
You're 50 feet up from the floor of this cavern.
You just shot.
So as far as we know, there's no safe way down. But did our disbelief in the illusion show us? Did anything appear like, oh gosh, there's stairs here or anything like that?
There are no stairs, so you would have to climb down. Like if you have a rope and grappling hook, you could anchor it. There's the floor of the cavern is just dirt and rocks.
Yeah.
And it goes for like a couple 100 feet.
Yeah, I forgot it was like a drop down. So no, Riff will say, guys, this is an illusion. There's no ocean here. I can see this tree with an orb in it way over there. Can you guys look and see, like, once they have this knowledge, would they have the chance of noticing the tree or anything like that?
Yes. So at this point, I would say Estrof and Tuco and Durant can make a perception plus magic roll. Tell me your results. The difficulty will be reduced because the illusion has been revealed to you.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still trying to pull up mine. Do you know my stats on there?
I will look. Three plus roll 6 dice.
All right. $13.
Okay. You guys succeed. I'm going to make a roll for Durant. And he also succeeds with a 12. So now you see that this cavern is not all that it was initially perceived to be.
How far away is that orb?
So it's up in a tree. So it's almost at your eye line. So it's almost 50 feet high because it's kind of in the crux of the upper branches of this tree.
Is there a noticeable exit from this cavern?
No.
Okay, so it effectively looks like we hit a dead end with a tree with a shiny orb in it.
Would it be possible for Tuco to use his longbow and shoot it?
Yeah.
Only one way to find out, brother.
So how far away is it? Because does he have line of sight?
Oh, yeah. Are you shooting the tree or the orb?
The orb.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably 100 feet away from where you are now.
Okay, so longbow is like 300 feet range, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So normal, I don't need to boost my stuff or anything. So that's...
I mean, if you want to take an extra round to aim, you can make a precision plus archery roll at a lower difficulty.
Plus archery is 3. Well, that's not very much.
Meanwhile, can Riff still remind Durant, like, there's something spiritually related with this orb over here. Is there any way you can sense with your magic item anything useful? Or do you even want to try?
Durant will try.
Okay.
He has spiritual 3. You have
Riff,
spiritual
like,
4?
Yeah.
Why don't you also make a perception plus magic roll?
I rolled an 8, by the way.
Okay.
Not too great.
Tuco hits. You see your arrow hit the orb, and you hear like a sound of it bouncing off, like the same sound it would make if you shot it at like something very hard, like almost like shooting it off of rock or metal.
A 15 on Riff's check.
Okay, when you look at that orb, it is imbued with spiritual energy, on an incredibly powerful level. And you believe that it is the source of the illusion. So that means that it also has mental energy that you perceive.
And
Humphrey, did you share what you knew about it from an energy perspective?
Yeah.
So to your knowledge, to your collective knowledge, this orb possesses magical energies of energetic, mental, and spiritual magic.
Can I mage hand it out of the tree in theory and onto the ground at the base of the tree?
Using energetic magic?
I would imagine it would be energetic magic, but so it could be. Man, this is what's cool. There's so many different ways you could do this, right? Because you could spatial it. You could energetic create like some force field. You could use material, like I want to move the wind, I assume, and have the wind carry it. Fuck it. Let's try some energetic magic and see if that does anything.
Okay, make a willpower plus magic roll.
Okay.
Estrof, get ready to try to communicate with it like you did with those shroom guys. Yeah. You're really good at making contact with stuff.
23.
Oh, God.
Okay. So you reach out your hand, and you guys see the tree kind of quake for a moment, and then you hear like
solid pop right there.
And the orb kind of pops away from the tree, and it starts coming towards you. Now remember, like from a distance, this thing looked huge, right? Like an 8-foot tall marble, like a big fucking giant crystal ball that was like, 4 feet in radius. But as it's coming towards you, it seems to get smaller. Instead of getting bigger as it gets closer, it's getting smaller. Until it arrives like 5 feet away from Humphrey's hand, wherein you see now that it is the size of a large marble. And it's now floating above your hand. As you're looking at it, you see that it's still emanating a white glow, but you see that like it looks like it's made of glass, perfectly polished, and that there's like white swirling, almost like clouds inside of it.
Oh, this sounds familiar.
Humphrey, it sounds like your first magic item treasure from this trip.
It does. Okay, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. I'd like to grasp it.
Firmly grasp it.
Yeah, with my right hand.
You have it in your hand. It has a good solid weight to it. And also you notice that there's not even a mark, not even a scratch from the expertly shot arrow that Tuco shot at it.
As Riff looks past to the tree, does the tree look like it's upset it lost its prey?
The tree... No, the tree didn't have leaves. I forgot to mention that. The tree did not have leaves. Like it maybe looked like a dead tree or a petrified tree because it didn't even have leaves. So the tree doesn't change at all.
Could I perform a gnome inspection on it?
Make a perception plus nature roll.
All right.
Yeah, what if that's like its fruit? Let's each get one, man. Let's wait for the next fruit to grow.
And you guys find your own orb. This one's mine.
That's right.
Are you guys climbing down?
23.
Okay, so important thing. So Mike, with a 23, Estrof would notice that the tree, size-wise, seems pretty ancient, right? Like it's got to be total 150 feet tall, and it's definitely a dead tree. It's petrified.
Huh. Can I see if there's any life force left in it?
You kind of wonder how is this tree inside of a cave inside of a mountain? That's the part that has you a little confused.
And we're like, what, 100 feet away or something? Or further?
Yeah, total, you're about 100 feet away from the tree.
So, you guys want to climb down and go investigate closer?
I do, but can I do something with the orb right before that?
Yeah, definitely.
I hold the orb like I would my crystal ball here, and I say, how do we get out of here? Or how do we get out of this cavern? Just to see if anything happens.
While you do that, I'd like to try to sense its life force, the trees.
You have to get closer. Oh, using magic?
Yeah, corporeal.
Okay, make a perception. It's still nature. All right, I'll give this to you. Take off 4 qua.
Talking to me or Mike?
I'm talking to Mike.
Okay.
So extending your already successful roll for perception plus nature, you look and see that this tree's life force, it's almost like a candle that's about to go out. And you feel like perhaps the only thing that kept it intact was the orb.
Oh, while he's talking to the orb, I want to turn to Humphrey, like distraught.
Jerk. I'll put it back.
Humphrey, you want to know that you ask the orb the way out?
Yeah, I want to, because so what's going on right now? Humphrey looks at this, sees a lot of similarities between it and a crystal ball. So he wants to try treating it like the crystal ball. He wants to know the way. How do we get past this cavern? How do we continue to move forward?
You feel a gust of wind behind you guys, like blowing past you into the cavern.
Okay. Then onto the cavern. So let's go. Let's climb down.
All right. I'll tie my rope to something hopefully here that we can get down. And it'll stay up top.
Okay. You guys secure a rope. You begin climbing down, taking your time, presumably. You get to the floor 50 feet below. And as I said before, it's an expansive cavern. So its circumference is, or the diameter's, about 150 feet. So you can walk to the center. You could walk over to the tree.
And the light source, is there something lighting up the place? Or I forget if you said that went away before.
Don't we have dark vision still?
We do, but I'm just curious about the light source.
Does anyone have a torch? Not firmly lit?
Yeah.
Humphrey does.
Hold up.
I have a hooded lantern if I know I can't see anything.
No, I mean, those of you who still have the dark vision eyes, you could still see.
Okay.
And the orb gives off 5 feet of dim light now that it's small and in your hand.
All right, how do you guys want to approach moving around the cavern over to the tree? Straight across, or?
Let's just go.
All right.
Okay.
We're just
going
kind
of looking around up the ceiling every now and then, for anything.
Ceiling looks very cavern-like. The walls of this look cavern-like. The ground is littered with a variety of different rocks, small, medium, and large. Just debris, but all just rocky. Like there's no moss, it's like there's nothing else living in this space. It's all just matter.
Any bones or dead bodies? Okay.
No bones, no dead bodies. You guys start walking across the cavern floor towards the tree, and now as you get close to it, you truly grasp its scale. It's like 8 feet around. It's a massive ancient tree. And the bark is just petrified. I mean, it's literally, it just looks like this thing, who knows how long it's been in this condition.
I'll go back to the crystal ball and say, what's, now what?
Nothing. You still feel a breeze from behind you.
Pushing us toward the tree?
Yeah, but you still feel a breeze, which is weird because you're several caverns away from any open source to the outside. That's kind of what you conclude.
I'll go up there and touch my hand to the tree.
Okay, you do. It feels as hard as rock.
Haven't you done enough?
Estrof, what did the tree tell you? How's it doing?
The tree is dying.
Oh, the tree's dead.
It looks pretty dead.
Oh yeah, the candle's out all the way.
Tree is dead. Estrof, as you're kind of looking up, feeling sort of an emotional sense about this, you see that one of the big branches, like again about 50 feet up the tree, one of the big branches seems to almost grow into the rock.
How high up is it? Like
about 50 feet. Kind of close to where the orb was situated.
Would I be able to climb it, or would that be something I'd have to?
You can climb.
I can climb it?
How's your athletic ability?
A 2.
Okay, so you can make an agility plus athletics roll to climb it.
All right. Let's see. Oh,
unless you happen to have some rope and a grappling hook, that'll lower the difficulty a lot.
I think I had rope. I don't know about a grappling hook.
You can try to hook, try to wad up a knot of rope up to catch between a crook in the branches.
Yeah.
Tuco has a grappling hook if you want to use it.
Oh, sweet. Tuco,
Okay.
You got something I can use real quick? Get up that tree?
Make an agility plus athletics roll, Tuco.
Agility plus athletics. All right.
He's going to have like 32.
I should hope so.
23.
Tuco gives it a whirl and lets it go, and the grappling hook catches perfectly.
He probably doesn't even wait. He throws and just starts walking off.
So you climb up the rope. You don't need to make a roll. You get to this crook, and you see now this branch goes about 20 feet, and then it looks like it literally goes into the rock. All the other branches that are still intact seem to kind of go up and out like a normal tree would, but this one branch goes into the rock. And you see almost like a crack in the rock above and below it.
Well,
I want to walk over there and kind of inspect the rock surface and the opening, or the crack, I guess.
Make me another perception plus nature roll.
one of the things that we could do is we could do the whole temporal trick to figure out the origin story for this tree.
You can definitely blow Qua on that. That would be awesome.
Or we can make ourselves smaller and go in the crack.
17.
Ooh, that's clever.
Yeah.
17. All right. You are up close to it now. Like you're literally kind of balancing on this wide, and it's not like a narrow branch, right? This is a big, thick branch. So since you were smaller of stature, Estrof, it's not really that hard for you to walk out. You go right up to where it goes into the rock. And it looks like, as you're getting closer, like this crack in the rock above and below, kind of covered in dust, and you're sort of like looking at it and swiping away. And you notice that there's something carved into the rock right above the branch. and it looks like a script that you're not familiar with, but you've seen it before in other ways, in other parts of this mountain.
Master Durant, do you still have your etchings? He would rubbing those other.
Durant eagerly pulls out his various rubbings, and kind of looks through them, and he holds one up, and Estrof looks down, looks at the thing, and after about 5 minutes, you come up with a rough translation. And I actually am going to have, since Erik's not here, I'm going to have to roll to see if he can decipher this. Oh, he has 7 dice. Good Lord. Okay, that's a 25. That's more than enough.
I was hoping you were going to say 23.
That seems to be the popular number today.
Jordan.
He says it. I think the first word is breath. The second word is of. And the third word is them. Durant's confused. He's like, I don't know what breath of them means.
Durant does, but Erik certainly does. When he says that, I'm going to go up there and just kind of like on the crack.
You blow onto the crack, and you notice that, like, for a moment, like, the dust blows away, and the crack kind of, like, opens up a little and then closes.
I holler down, I need help blowing.
You need more breath.
Humphrey, your new toy seems to be able to send gusts of wind. Maybe can it do something and do breath on there?
I'll ask it. And so I go. I hold the crystal ball and the orb, and I'm like, can you blow
a crack?
Estrof blows.
You feel air blowing from underneath you now, like blowing up.
So I turn to the group. I think it wants us to go up. I think we're all going to have to blow on this thing. We're all going to have to blow it hard.
Into the crack.
Okay, so Humphrey starts climbing so he can blow with all his might.
All right, you climb up. You are now on the branch.
Humphrey blows like he's never blown before.
Just out of your own mouth?
Oh, I use other people's mouths too.
I think this is gonna have to be a group blow. Let's all go up.
Probably would.
So,
the more mouths, the better.
Well, there's only room on the branch, like width-wise, for 2 people. One of those 2 people has to be Estrof because he's shorter, and someone else could be like standing over him.
Master Humphrey, that wind that's been directing us, is it now pointing towards the crack?
It appears that way.
He's
Is that doing anything when that wind goes into the crack?
Well, it's not. Once Humphrey got up there was no wind.
Oh, okay. So then I want to ask it. I'll ask the crystal ball. So I'm up there, right? I ask the crystal ball. Should I be blowing on this crack?
It starts to blow. You feel wind from not from behind you, but from the orb. Like as you're holding it in your hands, you actually feel like air, almost like imagine if your hand was under a hand dryer. But
okay,
it's not warm air, it's cool air. But it starts blowing out from you into the crack, and as it does so, the crack begins to open and expand.
Then I want to hold it closer to the crack.
It gets bigger.
Full send.
Tuco's going to rush in.
Okay. It now opens up into a 5-foot wide fissure. And you see the branch extend into the rock and then stop, but the rock itself becomes like a floor. And it looks like basically an open cave that's 5 feet wide that goes for about 60 feet.
This seems like a good way to die. But let's do it.
Tuco's rushing in and looking around for any kind of threats.
It looks like this hasn't been opened in a very long time. You see no threats.
Okay.
Humphrey looks at the group and it's like, you guys...
Durant climbs up.
You guys...
Sure. I'm worried that at some point your new toy is going to stop blowing and the crack might close. Is there any way we can see keeping the opening part for us all to get through?
Yeah, I think
you get the sense that we can make it in. And, I don't know.
Maybe leave the orb on the tree where it was, facing towards the crack.
Where's the limb, dude?
Put down. This sounds like a terrible way to die.
Does the limb keep going?
Who cares about this?
The limb, it looks like the limb goes into this cave-like tunnel and then, kind of stops. But the crack opened up and you see like basically another tunnel that goes for about 60 feet.
So I think we go in, guys.
Walk to the end.
Yep. Come on, guys, hurry up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. You guys go through. You're walking through this tunnel. You go about 60 feet and it splits. Not like exactly like a T intersection, more like a fork. One side goes left sharply, turning left like in a curve. The other seems to go right, but slightly straight.
I think we need to go left to go back, keep going back, because we started going right.
Is there any indication, any investigation we can do to give us any clues if one is differentiated from the other?
Sure, make a perception plus survival check.
Gladly.
Everybody or just him?
Anyone.
Survival. Where the fuck is my survival? Oh. Okay. So
I got a 9.
I got 21.
I got a rock.
13.
Okay. The tunnel to the left smells more like what you thought a cave should smell like. Kind of dank, stale air. The tunnel to the right smells like a mix of campfire, some kind of cooking meat, and maybe even tobacco smoke.
I know which way Estrof wants to go.
Yeah. Well, Estrof doesn't even think. He just naturally starts going that direction.
Guys, we should be going left. Estrof!
So is it only me who smells it, or the Tuco?
Did anybody get over a 14?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, I know. I mean, anybody other than Humphrey.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, so the rest of you guys just smell like cave, basically. Humphrey, your subtle sense of smell picked up those two options. The left seemed to be cave-like. The right seemed to smell a mix of smells.
There we go, I'm back.
The mix of smells being campfire, cooking meat, and maybe tobacco.
Being wonderful.
Okay, guys. So I sorry I blipped for a second, but I assume that I told them of.
Okay, so
what does the group want to do?
Which
I said
direction?
we go left.
Left or right?
Wait, you told us about the smells?
Yeah, I told you about the smells, right? Hey guys, that's what I smell on the right, and
I didn't wait around for the decision.
oh, you just went. Jesus Christ!
All right,
Yeah.
Estrof starts walking towards the right.
Tuco starts going left, sees Estrof, and shakes his head, gets his bow out, and starts going right.
Nothing is down here. Like, this isn't where standard adventurers to sort of wander. It's not
I
going to go.
mean, we know there's supposedly a bunch of treasure down here, so we may as well go into as many rooms as we can, right? We can always come back and go the other way. Let's give it a check.
There's either an excellent campsite Oh, we need to rescue an excellent campsite.
Estrof does have a neck about these things. He's got some good.
Let's do it. We're going right.
Okay. As you walk for 60 feet, it sharply turns again to the right. And this time it opens up, and you are looking down again. You're kind of about 50 feet up when you come out. You're looking down into sort of a cave valley. You see large mushrooms, very similar to the ones that you saw before.
I waved to him.
You see a few very strange looking like trees that do have leaves, but they don't look like trees you've ever seen before. They have a subtle kind of purple glow to them. And situated in this, 200 by 200 foot cave, in the middle, you see a tent, you see a campfire with a large mushroom being roasted over the campfire. And you see two humans who seem to be sitting on logs that look like maybe they were made from one of those trees. They don't seem to notice you guys because you don't have any light sources. So you kind of come out, you look, and you see this. And you notice that it's not a straight drop off. There's actually sort of like a rocky, roughly hewn sort of stairwell that descends down into this cave valley.
Is the mushroom that's being roasted shrieking in pain or anything? Like if it was a sentient mushroom?
Nope.
Can I?
And you notice that one of the two humans is smoking a pipe.
Can I try to detect any illusion? Like if these humans, specifically trying to see if there's any indication that these humans are not humans. From what
you can, and you don't. This seems to be 100% real.
I look. I want to grab.
I will let you guys, all of you, if you want. You could go ahead and make a. Gosh, what would this be? I guess perception plus survival roll.
My survival's so low.
15.
10.
6.
13.
I see no issue.
Anybody that got over a 12, the state of these men, they both have long, scraggly gray hair and beards. They're wearing clothes, but their clothes look like very worn. And they both seem a little bit like, not dirty, but just not particularly well kept.
How far away are they from us?
They're about, again, in the center of this thing, so they're about 100 feet away, like 50 feet down and 100 feet away.
All right, Tuco's going to take a position and just have his longbow aimed on them. You guys can go down. I'll cover your backs.
So far, Estrof doesn't see an issue because he got a 6.
Okay.
He sees a nice warm campfire.
Okay.
Humphrey's just looking at Estrof like, you're the one who dragged us here, but bro, what do we do next?
I've got paper. They have tobacco. Sounds like a good night.
Estrof, why don't you go over there and introduce yourself, and then we'll watch from here.
Estrof's bait.
Riff will go with. I mean, he and Estrof go way back. So.
All right. I'm going to have Durant. Durant's going to hold back with Tuco, and then Humphrey. Are you going down with them, or are you staying up with Tuco and Durant?
Humphrey's staying back.
Okay. All right. So Riff and Estrof, you begin kind of walking down. Let me just ask, are you walking down? Are you stealthing down? Like, what's your kind of approach?
It's kind of.
So not particularly stealthy, you're just kind of walking down.
Not unless someone's warning me of some issues. Like
I'm going to casually going, but Riff would like to use sense danger as approaching casually.
You sense no danger as you're approaching casually.
If you approach formally, that's when there's trouble.
You guys get down these stairs, and you're kind of starting to make your way through the cave floor towards the campfire. They don't seem to notice you until you're about 20 feet away, and then one of them turns, like looks at you, and then looks back, and then like turns almost as if in shock. His eyes are wide, and he's like, "Huh? Who's that?" And the other guy turns and looks, and he's kind of squinting past the campfire. Neither of you have weapons out, right?
No.
Correct.
The first guy with gray hair, but you can see now that you're closer. It looks like at one point in time he might have had red hair, because there's still a little bit of sort of, gray reddish hair. He looks almost in disbelief, like he's just, his mouth is jaw dropped looking at you. The other one stands up and like walks up next to him, and he seems to look at you, and he says, "Are you real?"
Is that tobacco real?
He looks at his pipe, he looks back at you, and then he turns to the other guy, the redhead who's in shock, and he says, "Varys, they're real." And Varys says, "How did you come to be here?"
We walked.
"Did you go through the cemetery?"
We don't remember a cemetery. Just taking
That is tobacco, right?
"Did you pass through the Hall of the Dead?"
No, the land of the mushrooms.
Yeah, we're not familiar with the names of caves here yet.
When Estrof, when you say the land of the mushrooms, the one guy kind of steps back, and it looks like he's almost trying to like remember something. And the other guy says, "You did not come through the land of the dead?"
No.
"But you passed through the cavern of mushrooms?"
Yes.
Wait, describe what this land of the dead is. What do you mean by that?
"A cemetery, a graveyard. The dead rose.
I want to holler out for our guys.
You would have known if you'd passed through it."
Like what size were the graves?
What's that, Mike?
Said I want to holler up to the guys at the top, like, there was no land of the dead, right?
So you notice both of them kind of look in the direction that you're looking at, but you intuit that they must not have dark vision, because they look up and they're like, "Who are you talking to? Are there more of you?"
It's the people above us.
"The dead?"
I hope not.
You notice like the redheaded guy kind of run back over towards the fire, and he reaches over and he grabs a very dirty looking sword and scabbard, and he pulls out his sword, and he says, "The dead have come? They've come through the portal?" And he looks terrified. The other guy
shout down, "Is there danger?"
I'm going to say,
"Who is up there?" You see that they both seem very alarmed. The other guy says, "Who is up there?"
"Tuco Musashi. Is there danger down there? Is there danger down there?"
"There's no danger down here, but there will be unless you come down and show yourselves."
Let's go down there.
Yep, coming down.
You guys go down, and as you approach the campfire, and the two guys see you, they look at you and they seem relieved. The redheaded guy puts his sword down, and the other guy seems to be more calm.
I Put my longbow back.
I am Torlin. This is the guy with gray hair. He looks over to the guy, the redheaded man, and he says, "That is Varys."
Isn't a longbow enormous?
It's pretty tall.
Yeah, isn't it like the size of a human?
It could be 5 feet.
Okay.
Torlin says, "Would you like to sit by the fire with us?"
Would I?
Riff immediately sits by the fire.
They walk over and they kind of sit down on a couple of the stumps.
You seemed concerned about danger. What danger is around here?
We were alarmed because we have not seen anyone in a long time.
We just came. There was a tree that went into a rock. We was able to get the crack in the rock open, and we came through there.
A tree? A crack? I don't understand. We came here, we found this place after our party was nearly decimated by the dead.
When did you come to this mountain?
He kind of looks down and he says, "I am not sure how long we've been here, but it has likely been very long."
I'm gonna crack open the never-ending wine. Offer a few swigs around.
He takes it and he smells it, and Torlin looks at it and he looks at Varys and he says, "It's wine," and he drinks like 7 gulps of it, and then he just lets out like a huge like, "It tastes so good. It tastes so good," and he begins to weep and he passes it to Varys, and Varys drinks from it, and Varys is like, "Thank you, small-statured man."
While they're distracted eating, I'm gonna kind of lean over to Durant and say, "Are these guys alive?" Whisper so that they can't hear me.
Durant nods.
Humphrey wants to ask, so how long you guys been down here?
Torlin says, "I would assume many years, but I lost track long ago.
How have you survived?
Most of the time we eat mushrooms, occasionally snakes or insects."
Have you explored much, tried to get out?
There was only one way in here and only one way out, back through the halls of the dead.
How do you get to the halls of the dead from here?
Through the tunnel, the one that you came through.
But that direction has a fork in it.
Yeah,
What?
we didn't go the other way.
He
What
looks
door?
confused. He says, "What fork?"
Oh shit, that's right. We tunneled our own way through it.
No, we did come to a fork.
No,
You
no,
went
but
right.
He says, "There is
Yeah,
only
but they didn't blow
one
in the
tunnel.
walls.
There's only one tunnel into this place. Many times we've gone back and looked into the halls of the dead, but we dare not try to cross to get out."
How
so
did you blow the tunnel?
how did you guys get through it in the first place? Tell us about your party and the story of how you got through it the first time. And then we'll tell you anything that you want to know about us.
We were part of an expedition. We came some years ago to an island, and our expedition set up camp. We began exploring the island, and the leader of our camp expedition, Captain Lesage, found what he thought was evidence that perhaps someone or something had lived on this island before.
Do we recognize that name?
I'm going to make Durant make a roll because he read through. Actually, you know what? You did that too, Estrof, when you were on the ship hanging out. You can make a perception plus research roll.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's a stretch of a chance. So Durant has huge perception and research, but I failed. I rolled 7 dice for Durant, which is remarkable, and he only got a 14. So
I rolled 4 and got a 10.
Okay, so you haven't heard that, and neither has Durant.
Could be anyone.
Torlin says, ultimately, the captain selected a group of us, and we came upon a trio of mountains. The center of that trio of mountains, there was a stone ring with a strange symbol made of stones in the center of it, which the captain thought was some kind of indication that this place was sacred.
Was there a person there?
No. We didn't see any people. We entered this cave, began exploring it, and had many strange encounters, things that for some reason seemed to be at sometimes not possible. Varys then, the redheaded guy, at this point he chimes in and he says, like the smoke? Like the smoke, Torlin? And Torlin says, yes, that was strange. We fought some strange creatures as well, and finally came to a large chamber which seemed to be some sort of burial chamber. We passed through it, and about halfway through, the dead began to rise. Our party fought against them, but it seemed like the dead could not be killed. Varys and I ran, seeing a means of escape, climbing the rock and passing through a tunnel. Some of the dead climbed after us, but when they came to the entrance of the tunnel, they stopped as if some force prevented them from pursuing us. We had been grievously wounded, and we were in no position to try to save any of the other members of our party. We heard their screams as the dead devoured them. And you notice when Torlin's telling this part of the story, Varys puts his head in his hands and just seems to be tormented by this memory. Torlin says, we continued down the tunnel until we found this place. We have been here for many years, I think. There's a trickle of fresh water that seeps down into that pool over there, and he points into the darkness. You guys can see, as he points, that past a few of the shrub-sized mushrooms, there's kind of a rocky pool about 8 feet wide that has water, and you see water seeping down into it from the cave above.
What year was it when you left on your expedition?
He tells you the year.
And then can we figure out, based on the year we know, how long it's been?
That's a good question, because we're
from a different area,
from a different area, number one. But number two, I mean, you did so Durant specifically tried to read as much as he could in the captain's library to determine more about the world that you're in. I'll say that Durant leans over to you and tells you that was 25 years ago.
Did you happen to see the curly-haired man with the robes and rings on his finger at any point, sitting by the rocks at the entrance to the mountains?
There was no man at the entrance to the mountain that we saw.
Friends, I think it's important that we go back, retrace our steps, and see if our other path is still there. If it is, then they have a way out. We have other options.
Do I still have the orb?
You do.
Are they burning the mushroom now?
No, Torlin occasionally turns it. After a little while, he takes his dagger out, which looks very old and rusty, and he shaves some of the mushroom skin off into a kind of a fillet. And he puts it onto a pan, and even his mess kit looks like it's old and rusty, but he puts it onto a pan.
So I want to turn to these guys and say, we want to help you get out of here, but we need your help. You guys have been through what's ahead. If the only way for us to get out is to go through this, we need you to tell us everything you know about the quickest way to get through the cemetery.
So two things happen as you're saying that. Varys, the redhead, is like, no, and he's like, no, and Torlin's like, calm. He says, we cannot go back through the halls of the dead. We need a priest. There's no way that you could kill the dead. They're already dead. They just keep coming.
Does Durant say anything at that point?
Durant just kind of looks at you guys.
Thanks, Durant. Way to go, Erik.
I mean, I think actually Durant, being a calming and reassuring person, would probably say something. Do you guys think that's accurate?
Yeah.
So Durant, with his recently learned knowledge, might say, I am a priest. I have come to know Upai Vasei Hoof. And you see that the man looks with recognition, and he says, that is an ancient god. Does your god bless you here? And Durant says, I believe so.
So I turned back to
Torlin seems reassured, and he looks to Varys and he says, Varys, perhaps this is the prayer that we've been asking for come true. Perhaps this is our salvation.
I suggest we have a long rest here for the night, recover what we can,
eat some mushrooms,
and make a plan for how to get through.
Yep. I think we still need to go back and see if the path that we came from is still there.
I don't have a problem with that.
We don't have to go to the land of the dead or whatever it's called, but I want to see if we still have another option.
To what end? To backtrack?
Well, it would give our Torlin and Varys another option. I don't think we would go back, but if they don't want to come and fight the land of the dead with Master Durant here, then they have an option. They have a way to leave.
I don't want to give them an option. We need their help. They've not just been through the cemetery, but they've been through those chambers that come before, that come after the cemetery, or in their case before.
Yeah, but if they come with us and this land of the dead is as dangerous as they say, they're going to have to fight with us.
Yep. I'd rather have more people with us.
Torlin says, if you all are willing and brave enough, we would gladly welcome this chance to escape this place. you're more than welcome at our hearth. And he begins cutting off other slabs of the mushroom. And he lays them out for you guys to kind of just grab in hunks off of his plate. So the mushroom actually tastes pretty good. It has a meaty taste. And it basically satisfies your hunger. You see that he, like after he cuts off some slabs and sets them down, he grabs these 2 stones and begins kind of rubbing them over the new grilled part of the mushroom, and the little like crystals drop onto it, and then he kind of rotates it and just continues doing a rotisserie. You guys all eat. Varys and Torlin talk with you more. They tell you that when they passed through the Hall of the Dead, that the graves were not open. That they opened as the living passed through. They tell you that before the Halls of the Dead, they fought in other caverns against strange monsters. And then they tell you that one of the caverns was not a monster, but it was a black, formless smoke. And you see, as Torlin describes it, Varys seems to get chills. The smoke seemed innocuous, it seemed harmless, but as we got closer to it, it just launched in and attacked, and it would envelop a person, and we would run away from it. We would fire arrows at it. We would do anything at it, and nothing seemed to do anything against this smoke. And every victim that it left behind, their flesh was melted, and all that remained was bones.
Doesn't sound like a good time. Okay, then I want to look at Tuco and say, Tuco, do you want to go now to check to see if the thing's open, or would you like to go in the morning?
I would like to go now. I just want to see if that path is there or if it's gone away.
I mean, it's not too far from where we are.
Right.
I have no problem going with Tuco for a moment just to see if it's there and then come back.
I agree. We should, rest here before we go, but I would like to know if the path is still there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to split the party for long, just to...
So I need to know something. When you go up, Nathan, do you have the...
I have the orb.
You have the white orb?
Yep.
They look curiously at that, and they're like, what is that?
Hey, beats me.
They just shrug. They don't seem to recognize it.
Okay.
Okay, so you and Tuco go back up the stairs. You go down the hallway. The tunnel that you guys opened up is closed. There's a crack.
If I take the orb and put the orb up against it, open up.
Yes. When you basically ask the orb to open it, it opens up the tunnel again, and you see at the end of the tunnel the tree.
Are there any other cracks that we've noticed of similarness?
No. There are not, or have not yet been.
Okay. I'll get to go and say, satisfied?
Yep, I'm satisfied.
Yep. Back to the group.
All right. You return to the group. You guys have your fill of food. Estrof, if you're sharing the never-ending flask of wine, both Varys and Torlin enjoy it and thank you repeatedly as they get more and more buzzed until eventually they pass out on the ground.
It's so funny how useful that random ghost item is. That was useful.
You guys sleep.
Hello, Qua.
Your Qua returns.
Ooh.
You're not really sure if it's day or night anymore because
Not that I named it.
although those of you with temporal magic could determine exactly what time it is if you desire. But you sleep, and you wake up. Varys and Torlin have filled a couple bowls with water, and they're kind of like just sponge bathing themselves. you see they go over and begin putting on very old leather armor, like it's cracked in some places. And you notice that it's very loose on them, as if you think perhaps they used to be more, stout and sturdy, and the armor seems kind of loose on them now.
Can I use my material magic to kind of repair their armor and make it fit them appropriately?
Yes, you can.
I'd like to do that.
You have a variety of options in that regard, not the least of which would be their weapons and armor.
Okay.
Go ahead and make me a willpower plus magic roll.
Oh, you'd ask me to do those all day. 20.
Yeah, that'll do it. So the question is 1, 2, 3. How much qua do you want to blow? Because not only can you mend it for 4 qua, if you actually wanted to improve the quality of their weapons and armor, you could do that for 5, 6, or 7 qua.
So
basically, you could turn their leather armor into plate mail if you wanted.
Well, I mean, 25 years these guys have been down there. At best, they're in their late 40s, maybe 50s. Like, what kind of fighting?
You feel like they're in their early 50s.
So what kind of fighting shape do I think these guys are in? Like, if I blow a bunch of quad to give these guys Jesus level armor and weaponry, is that really going to make a difference with their fighting?
So on the one hand, they're definitely not as strong as they used to be, probably. On the other hand, if you gave them plate mail armor, there's a much better chance that they would survive any attacks than if you didn't.
What about their weapons, their swords and stuff?
Their weapons are rusty, but he could, easily, he could restore their weapons. Okay. The question is if you want to spend additional qua.
I'll blow 6.
Okay, so with 6 qua, basically you can upscale their leather armor to plate mail and fix their weapons.
Yep.
While we're playing Fairy Godmother, can I bippity boppity boop them back into bulk shape?
What level of corporeal magic do you have? That's an interesting question. You sure could.
Oh.
Now the question is how long do you want that to last? So suppose that you wanted to boost their strength and agility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'd need 8 qua to boost their strength and agility for an hour.
I think I'm going to wait to make them go whole.
Can Tuco assist them?
That idea is going to pop up, and I'm like, oh, hey.
You could do that. So you keep that in your back pocket. All right. So you guys armor up, you weapon up. They actually, each one of them lights a torch. So they have a torch in one hand and a sword in the other. Actually, Varys has a sword. Torlin has an axe.
Tuco's going to then bring out his lantern.
Okay.
Since they can't... Oh, we lost our sight too, right?
Yeah, you guys have no active spells anymore.
I had a hooded lantern and oil.
What does dark vision cost me?
4. Well, it depends. How long do you want it to last?
I mean, it's going to be dark, so...
7 if you want it to last for an hour.
7 for an hour?
Yeah.
Fuck me. I'll use a torch.
Okay.
I've got a hooded lantern.
Got it.
Guess we could each really take torches now that there's a fire right there.
Oh yeah. The wood from the purple trees burns pretty well. It looks like they have like a bundle that they've assembled. So you guys get your light sources, your weapons, you climb back up the stairs. They left their tent, but they actually, shoved whatever remained of the cooked mushrooms and some of their other supplies into their backpacks. And you notice that they each have a very different demeanor. Varys looks very nervous. But he's still, following up. Torlin looks eager, like he wants to get the hell out.
Tuco's going to stay next to Varys and try and calm him down and give him some.
I need to retcon
courage.
one. I forgot to mention their reaction when Humphrey did what he did.
I was wondering just about
that. When you did that, they both fell to their knees. And they said, and each one of them were like, "Oh, may the gods be praised. Thank you. This is truly a blessing. This is our salvation. We are grateful. We will never forget this blessing. Thank you."
What does Durant do? Does he accept that sacrilege?
Durant just kind of like looks at them, and then he writes something in his journal. He's just observant. All right, so who's the brave souls who are going to be in the front?
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem making us fly over these guys. So, like, I know it's kind of boring, but we could totally do that.
Well, I think we may want to have some caution there. If they got that freaked out over just their armor getting better, what's going to happen if they can start flying all of a sudden?
Yeah, you think they're going to get more freaked out by flying over the battle or from being in it?
They're going to be more used to fighting on the ground than in the air. So,
well, they don't need to fight if we can fly right over everything.
True. All right, so here's my question. You guys walk down the hallway. You pass by the crack, which leads to the orb tree room. And then there's the tunnel that you didn't go down that smelled like a cave. As you go down that tunnel, you come to an opening, and it's not looking down. It's literally, actually it is looking down, I'm sorry. It looks down, but it's not like a 50-foot drop off. It's like a 20-foot drop down to a cave floor that's covered in dirt, and you see mounds of dirt. You also see some skeletons in armor, some weapons strewn around the room, some arrows, broken arrows, and all of it seems to be covered in dust.
Oh, land of the dead.
Talking about the ceiling, what kind of space are we looking at?
It's a tall ceiling. The chamber is pretty tall. So you guys are 20 feet up, and the ceiling is another 20 feet above you.
So,
you're looking now. Here's the thing: with your torches and your lantern, you could see about 30 feet into this chamber, but beyond that, you can't see. And the chamber definitely extends beyond that. So you don't see a way out of this chamber yet.
I want to look at Tuco and say, "Could you send a flaming arrow? See how far it goes."
Sure. Light one of my arrows from the hooded lantern and shoot it as far as I can.
You add a little oil to that and you light it up and shoot it. You see your arrow fly out and it lands about 100 feet away in the ground. And you see some of that area is illuminated. You see more of the skeletons, the in armor, you see weapons.
Master Durant, you know more of the dead than we do. Is how do we fight them or avoid fighting them? If they can't be killed, we'll just be fighting forever.
Durant actually is going to blow some qua and activate Ghost Sight. Tremendous. He looks out and Durant shudders. He's like, this entire room is filled with spiritual energy. There are dozens of spirits bound to these physical bodies above the ground and below the ground. And there's something else. In the middle of the chamber, there's something else buried, and it's got a spiritual energy that's terrifying.
Humphrey wants to take out, this is a long shot, but he wants to take out the orb and see if it's resonating any differently, if it's emitting any He's wondering if the orb could be used as some sort of ward or weapon in this situation.
You feel the cool breeze as you're holding it in your hand, but it's not blowing in any particular direction. But what you do notice is that the white, cloudy substance inside of it, on the side closest to the entrance into this cavern, it becomes kind of dark, almost like a white cloud versus like a rain cloud. It becomes kind of gray.
Wonderful.
Humphrey, how strong is your spiritual energy? Do you mind if I hold that?
I was actually just about to pass it to you. Yes, he would. Humphrey passes the orb to Riff.
So Riff holds it. First of all, does anything different happen just because of Riff 4 and spiritual energy? If not, he'll try to focus on it.
Attune to it.
It certainly has spiritual energy. Are you concentrating on trying to communicate with the orb?
Can I communicate with the orb? Telepathically? Can I try telepathically communicating with, like...
You could.
Are you... Like, I guess I would try to communicate. This room seems filled with very dangerous spiritual energy. Like, can you get us safely through here without us having to fight these spirits? Is there a safe passage through here somehow?
You feel a little wind blowing up from the orb.
Okay. So does anyone else feel that, or is it just the one holding it?
You guys, I mean, if you're right next to Riff, you might feel it.
So basically, I just try to communicate with this, if there's a way to get through here safely, and this wind blew up a little bit. Which I can only, right now, think of what one thing that could mean if it's actually trying to help, which would be what we've done several times before, and fly. However, there seems to be spirits up in the air as well, right?
So the one thing I'm wondering about is the spiritual thing in the center.
Right.
Do we have to do anything with that, or we just want to fly and book it across as fast as possible?
We don't even know where the end of it is or how to get out.
Oh, that's
we don't even know if the end is where the out is. And matter of fact, as I say that, I'm thinking, why don't we ask our new friends, how did you guys get in this place in the first place?
He says, Torlin points across the chamber to an area that's dark. And he says, there's a tunnel.
What about up?
Almost directly across from where we are, perhaps 120 feet away.
Can we see the ceiling in this room, or is there?
Yeah, you can see okay. It kind of slopes upwards into kind of a dome, cave-like dome.
Riff wants to concentrate and communicate to the orb again and ask if it can keep the spirits in here from attacking us somehow. We just want to get through the room.
You don't get communication in a verbal sense, but you get very much a strong no. Not entirely.
And did you tell us where it was blowing its air, like directionally?
Just
Riff?
up.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'd like to go back. Go check it out.
Go back to what?
No, become a bat.
Oh.
Go back.
Oh. You want to turn into another thing.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, your corporeal magic is indeed powerful. 1, 2, 3, for what, a minute? 10 minutes?
How long do we think it would take to fly to the top of the cave, across, and then back? Just kind of check.
1 minute. 1 minute. So 5 qua. And remember that your qua was restored after your long rest.
I'm getting my longbow out in case these guys.
He's going to shoot me.
So,
oh no, a bat.
So you turn into a bat. You start flying up. You're kind of just skimming the ceiling. You fly over and across. And indeed, using echolocation, when a few screeches, you sense a tunnel opening about 120 feet across the cavern. You circle around and fly back.
Can you use corporeal magic to turn us all into bats?
Did we see anything about the graves?
Yeah, they're all over the chamber.
But did they react to the bat flying?
No.
Okay.
Turn us all into bats and blow that qua.
I mean, I could again. I can do 7 more, maybe.
Are we interested in investigating that thing in the center? It seems to be resonating more spiritual energy.
Let's ask Durant and say, what do you think? Is it worth doing it? Because he's the one who saw it.
Durant says, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what that is, and I'm not exactly sure how safe it is to be near it. But I think that that thing is the reason why the dead return to life in this chamber.
You'd have to figure out a way to destroy that.
Fireball.
Or we just bypass. Oh.
Humphrey, mage hand.
I vote fireball.
Worked before.
Fireball.
What if it's what we're here to look for to give to what's his name?
So can I see that? Is that like I
You
can
dig
see
through the
that
ashes.
where we are? Like what's in the center?
It's buried, but I mean, Durant can point it out to you.
What are we talking about here? Is it like so? It's like
Actually, Durant has energetic magic level 1, so he can make you see like a pinpoint of where it is.
Okay, like how big of an object are we talking about?
Like, could a falcon
It
scoop it
seems
up?
to be the same size. It seems to be the same size as what you're holding, or what Riff is holding.
Okay, then it seems to be buried right now, right?
Yes.
Then I'd like to use some. Is it material magic? Yeah, probably material magic in order.
So many options.
Yeah, I know, right? I basically am trying to park the Red Sea of dirt here.
I can turn Riff into a hedgehog, and me into an eagle.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do that. I want to excavate to expose it.
Okay. Make a roll.
Any old roll will do.
Willpower plus magic.
Yeah. 18.
Bad roll for you.
The earth moves away, and you see a purple glow.
Okay. Well, so that was, I assume, 4 qua to do that.
Yep.
Okay, and then I want to mage hand that purple glow closer to us.
5 qua. Roll again.
We're just getting greedy here.
Man, why are we helping Thanos?
Right. Oh, shit, even worse, 17.
Okay. That actually is above what you needed.
Okay.
It flies past.
You lift this orb up, and you start bringing it closer. And as it gets closer within your torchlight, you see that it is solid black. It's emitting a soft purple glow, even though it's solid black. And as it's floating towards the air towards you, you see underneath each mound where it's floating over, the mound and the dirt starts to move. And you see corpses and skeletons starting to emerge from the dirt.
Up.
As it passes over skeletons that are on the ground, presumably the former party mates of Varys and Torlin, you see that those skeletons animate. And even if they don't have physical eye sockets, like eyeballs in their sockets anymore, there's a purple glow in each of the eyes of the undead as they rise and start to awkwardly follow it.
Send it up as high up into the cavern as we can.
I'm holding it. I want to hold it up.
Okay, they all stop and look up at it.
Okay, so
stopping and looking up at it.
This is what I'm going to suggest, guys. I'm going to hold it to one side of the cavern, like the right side, and we all go across to the left side to the, and then I'll drop it when we're all safe.
Halfway across.
Drop it. Bring it. You can control the dead. Isn't this maybe what we're here for? It's black. It's like an orb. I don't know what size it is. If it's when you get it to you, but
yeah,
I'm not sure we want to leave it.
Are they? Do I get a sense, Bill? Do I get a sense if these guys, if the undead are trying to reach for it and grab it, or are they just like get close to it?
They're just following it. They're literally looking up at it.
Oh, okay. Undead army. Okay.
That was an evil laugh.
Yes, it is. I don't know what's happening to Humphrey right now, but he is.
Necromancer Humphrey.
Nothing good. Okay. So Humphrey, is kind of, is holding it above and got all these baddies, to one side. So, and he instructs everybody to go on the other side.
Yep.
Okay, as you move it to the far side of the cavern, they all follow it.
Yep.
You guys go down.
Yep.
Climb down. You start moving across, presumably swiftly.
Mm-hmm. The opposite side.
On the opposite side, they're all still looking up at the black orb. As you guys get across 120 feet away, you see another tunnel. You see runes carved in the rock above the tunnel. You guys walk into the tunnel. Torlin and Varys have been silent this entire time. And the minute they pass through in the tunnel, they hug each other and they're like silently sobbing.
I'm just gonna hand the bottle up to them.
They're not making a noise, but they're both like stifling crying and they're like drinking the wine and shaking.
So
Riff's basically been holding his breath the whole way through, and he's just amazed looking back and seeing this thing, and all the dead are just still staring at it.
You guys notice, as you are now all in the tunnel, that the dead are still looking up at the orb.
So, guys, do we bring the dead with us?
Well, we have a decision. Also, the runes. Do we need to look at that? Durant, can you make something out of this?
Agreed.
Good call. Let me
breath
roll
of
for
them,
Durant.
breath of somebody else, something else of them. Inquiring minds want to know.
Mm-hmm.
He says, he looks at it and he said, even though I got an 18, he says, I don't know what this means. It's only one word. He says, I don't know what it means though.
What's the word?
I think if I'm translating it correctly, it says Taik.
How do you spell that?
All coming together.
Transliterate for me.
You're still holding the orb, Humphrey, but if you want to maintain this, you will need to channel another Qua. Unless you want to do something else.
Guys, I'm going to have to... I can't hold this thing forever. Well...
I go hold his arm up.
Are you still a bat? Is this shot still a bat? I mean...
No.
That's fine.
I just want to get a close-up look on it, because if it matches the description of what we were told to look for, we need to know that.
Yeah, I can make a check for that.
Your sense is that it maybe does.
But the Lan wanted something to let him out, not necessarily power over life and death. He already is in eternal.
He probably wouldn't mind having that extra power if it was extra to him. I don't know.
If you're in the neighborhood.
You can try and give that to him as opposed to what he really wants, but I doubt he'll be fooled by it if that's not what he wants.
We can bring it with us, and I think you're controlling the dead, Humphrey, so they might not attack us, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Like,
look at that army.
I want to bring it and hold it. So I want to bring the thing to me, hold it.
All right, so you guys are all in the tunnel.
Yeah, we're all on the other side of Humphrey.
Humphrey
He's
begins.
the last one.
Okay, Humphrey begins to bring the orb, and they're following the orb. You bring it over to you, and now it passes through into the tunnel into your hand. They all line up, but they stop.
Oh my god.
I was wondering if that would happen. Okay, cool. So I've got the object, but they're not.
They're all like literally like 80 undead are just standing in this room staring at the tunnel.
Okay, so Riff is still holding the other orb. Does he notice any change in its proximity to this orb?
Well, only that the color now has shifted. So the gray side of the clouds, whatever side is closest to that orb is gray.
Master Riff, and these guys probably shouldn't be undead. Is there any way
Quick point of clarification. Humphrey,
Sir,
are you still mage handing the orb, or are you holding?
Physically holding at this point.
Make a willpower roll.
You're dead.
Whoa.
Straight willpower.
Oh boy.
Wow, you were so fucking lucky. I rolled 1, 2, 3, 4 1s and 3 2s. I should screenshot this just to show you. I have a total of 12. What do you have?
11.
You have 11?
No.
Humphrey, what'd you get? You're muted.
Sorry, I was muted the whole time. I got 7.
Oh no.
Well, you said straight up willpower, right?
Straight willpower.
Yeah, so a 4d4. So I got 3 2s and a 1.
Okay.
Don't end the game now.
So here's what happens. You guys see this. Humphrey takes hold of the orb. The dead stop. They don't seem to move into the tunnel. You guys are like 5 feet away from an army of undead. And then you notice that Humphrey's eyes glow purple.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, shit.
And that, my friends, where we'll end this episode of The Dads.
No.
Thank you, as always, to my patrons for your support. We love you. Thank you for all the subscribers and fans of the channel. We'll see what happens on the next episode, everybody. Peace out. Goodbye.
Bye, Humphrey.
Humphrey.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allan World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that, because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.